Hi you guys, welcome back to another first impression video. This is my video series where I take a look at an entire sewing pattern collection and review each and every pattern for fit issues, fabrication, chat about overall design, and kind of give you some of my first impression thoughts of the patterns. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Simplicity collection. I believe this just dropped, hot off the presses as they say, and we're going to jump in with this new Mimi G pattern. This is a missus jacket with detachable capelet in 2 lengths. We have sizing 8 to 16 and 18 to 26. So a slim fit jean jacket that features a detachable capelet in 2 lengths. Details include front button closure, chest patch pockets with button flaps, jean style front pockets, front and back yoke, 2-piece sleeves with button cuffs. Fabric is dark denim and indigo, a twill in khaki. Those are the fabrics that they use for these samples. And then other fabrics you can use are chino, corduroy, sateen, twill. And then we do have some lining. I'm assuming it's just for the pocket bags. But we'll look at when we look at the back of the envelope. All right, let's take a look at some of these pictures. So, classic jean jacket, right? I have made a jean jacket before. Oh, I believe it was the Seamwork one, but I could be wrong. And I adore it. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of effort, but denim is so easy to work with. The top stitching was really fun. It was a great way to like level up my skills without having to worry about fabric, without having to worry about fit too much, all of that kind of stuff. Speaking of fit though, I do want to point out the shoulders on this one are a little bit too long for her. You can see her shoulder starts to dip down, and then we've got the sleeve cap. So this needs to be shortened by, I don't know, maybe an inch or so. Other than that though, it's a great looking denim jacket. Let me also say though that if this were intended to be like a drop shoulder, you wouldn't have this little bump here. There wouldn't actually be any room in the top of the sleeve for a shoulder. That's how I think I can tell that it is intended to sit up on the shoulder and not be a drop shoulder situation. This would be much flatter if it were a drop shoulder. Little long in the sleeves too. I guess that kind of comes down to personal preference maybe. But mine, I like it to be right where, like if you stick your thumb out, I like it to hit right where your thumb opens, like where your thumb attaches to your hand. I'll show you guys that in a video where you can see my hands one day. But okay, so we have this detachable capelet, which is what makes it so Mimi G, right? It looks like she just took these buttons here, and that's what you attach the capelet to. Interesting to me that it's a jeans button. I'm not sure if I would have made that decision because it looks a little bit strange when you're wearing it just as a jean jacket. Or does it? Yeah, because it's like outside of the button band. Maybe I would have just done like, I don't know what I would have done instead though at the same time. I guess the jeans buttons do make sense. Let's look at some more. I want to see the back of this. What do you guys think about convertible clothes? Is that something that you would find yourself wearing, or would you rather just be a jean jacket or just be a capelet and not necessarily be convertible? Okay, there's the back. Yeah, this looks like kind of a circle skirt around your neck though. Here are the button cuffs. This is also how you can tell they're a little bit long for her because this is gaping. This should be sitting kind of flat. I wish that the bottom of the cuff were here. Just me personally. Or open the cuffs. Maybe that would have been cute too. Okay, those are all the pictures we're going to get. We'll have to look at some of the line drawings to get a little bit more information. But we have for notions, top stitching thread, jeans buttons, or regular buttons, they say. 9 or 11 of them. So that can get a little bit expensive in jean button land. Denim, not super expensive. Twill, not super expensive. You could get this done pretty affordably, I think. Fit wise, we are looking at 4 inches in the bust. That makes sense. And 10 in the waist. That also makes sense. A little bit of wiggle room for you to size down since, didn't they call it a slim fit? Yeah. 4 inches of ease in the bust. Not oversized by any means. But it you have some room to make it a little bit slimmer. I was hoping that I could see where all this connects. They did say 11 buttons for B. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there must be 2 more maybe underneath. Oh no, 10, 11. So is it just these 2 and nothing's holding it up in the back? Because then that would be really easy to take on and take off. Yeah, I mean, I don't wear capes. I have my own very, very personal specific reasons for why I don't wear capes, but I do love the jean jacket that I made. And if you can have something that has like 2 different purposes, I guess that's kind of helpful. Also, what if you like made the jean jacket out of denim, but then you made the cape like if it were raining, you could do it out of like some kind of waterproof fabric. Would that be cool, or would that be really weird and strange? I'm thinking about not making them match. Having them just like coordinate maybe? I don't know. Or what if you did like a waxed cotton or some kind of like repellent, water repellent, like adhesive type of application to the actual fabric to make the capelet more purposeful, other than it just being really stinking cute. All right, some thoughts there. Get your little wheels turning. All right, now we have this cowl neck top with sleeve variations. This is such a classic design. I feel like it never goes out of style, and you always look like you have a lot of money. I don't know what it is about this that makes people look so freaking rich. I love this design. 10 to 18 and 18 to 26 on the size range. Cowl neck top pattern includes 3 stylish variations. View A is backless with a halter neck and side zipper opening. View B is pullover style with capped sleeves and keyhole back. View C is a pullover style with bell sleeves and keyhole back. The fabric is a silk and viscose crepe de chine in olive and cream polka dot. Well, excuse me, no wonder she looks rich. You can also use challis, charmeuse, crepe, and stable knits. Oh, a stable knit would be great. Okay, let's look at this a little bit. The fabric also helps. I think it's because it's reminding me too of what Vivian, aka Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, wore to the polo match, that dotted dress. And that will forever stand out to me. Like that is like an iconic look in my mind. But yeah, you have this all goes up into like I don't know if these are actual pleats that are sewn in the back, and then it kind of just folds in on itself in the front. But it doesn't look like any darts. I see no darts anywhere. We do have a side zip. Great length on it. We're not doing them too long. That looks good. Then you have this little cap sleeve version. This I'm for some reason picturing when they said stable knits. I'm kind of picturing it a little bit more in a stable knit. I don't know what I'm referencing in my mind, but something about it seems familiar in kind of like a knit fabric. And then you have the version with the long bell sleeves, which is also quite interesting. A little bit covered up, head like from your chin down is all covered up. So you'd want to balance that out with something in the back, or sorry, on the bottom. Here is the back of this. Not as, they said it was backless. So I was picturing this situation where it goes down. So yeah, not backless. I mean, you can still wear a bra with it for sure. And then you've got, you can't see because of her hair. They use little pearl buttons. That's so cute to match the dots of the fabric. I love that. So probably like 2 or 3 buttons up here to get yourself locked in up there. Really, really cute design. We have 3 buttons at the neckline, and then an invisible zipper and some elastic. I think the elastic is around the front neckline. Brilliant. That's great construction so that, it stays hugging your body and doesn't stretch out, especially with some of these like, more delicate fabrics. Fit wise, we have 1 inch of ease in the bust. That makes sense. And then, we actually have a varying finished bust. View A, this one has 1 inch, but B and C have 4.5 inches. So like much bigger. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I don't think we're getting different front pieces. Let me look at these line drawings. I think that this piece is the same for everybody, right? When you get your pattern pieces out, it's going to say like A, B, and C. Then the back pieces, this would be one, and this would be separate. So, is this narrower? Something about that seems really fishy to me. I'm not buying into that. So I would double check maybe something here. I think these should just be close. They can be different, right? I accept that, but they should be closer to each other, maybe. The waist for A also has 4 inches of ease, but the waist for B and C has, my gosh, 20, what is that? 7? That feels really big, right? Something about the backs being different is adding something here. And because we only get one picture of one sample, I really can't tell you exactly what's going on other than something feels off about that. Check, double check. Okay, now we have a Mrs. and women's full skirt with pocket variations. So sizing on this is still going to be limited. We are going to be missing out on the low end of Mrs. and the high end of Mrs. But we do get, I think, the full range of women. So we are so close, guys. So close. Women's goes from 16 to 38 is like their full range. So we get 20 to 38. So we're missing 16, 18 from here. So the low end of women's and the low and high end of Mrs. If we only had that high end of Mrs. 20 to 26 tucked into here somewhere and had 4 size options, I would be screaming. I would be so happy. So we're getting closer. We used to only have this and this. Now we're getting a little extra one. Okay. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Stylish wardrobe staple with this flared skirt sewing pattern. Each view features invisible side seam zipper. Side seam zipper. Okay. Waistband with hook and bar closure and invisible hem. Not a blind hem. You never see that. So you'll finally get to use that blind hem foot and that weird looking stitch on your sewing machine. You'll get to use those. You'll get instructions for them. That's awesome. View B has welt pockets. View C has lined patch pockets. They made their version in a corduroy, but you can also use gabardine, linen, medium weight denim, and wool blends. So when you're looking at these fabric suggestions, you are trying to figure out weight and drape. So we've got a good selection of mid-weight stuff here with a little bit of drape, not a ton, because I think this is a bit of a circle skirt that's happening. So that's going to naturally create folds in the fabric, even if there's not a ton of drape. But the more structured it is, the more it'll stand away from the body, the more it'll flare out. Think of like a poodle skirt or something with crinoline underneath it. It'll act a little bit more like that. The more drape that it has, the more it'll fall in on your body and have more of these folds. Okay, so let's take a look at the pictures here. We have her in the welt pocket version. Those are some very large welt pockets. I feel like this width here, this distance here should be the same as this. And those should talk to each other or at least be a little bit smaller. But I feel like this is bigger than that, or at least it appears that way. Yeah, okay. And then other versions are no pockets. We have the welt pocket version again. Even that looks bigger than this. And then we have these extra large, deep, top stitched patch pockets with, it looks like maybe even some pick stitching happening or some top stitching, some like visible top stitching. Really great outfit. It's giving Meghan Markle to me. And the only thing I would change about it is maybe not doing a turtleneck with a midi skirt. I like, if you're going to have mostly covered up bottom, to have like a little bit of a V-neck or something showing to balance out all this that's being covered up. But yeah, great fall skirt. For whatever reason, I feel like we don't have a lot of these basic skirt options. We get a lot of cutesy skirts, a lot of mini skirts, a lot of things like that are very trendy, but nothing just like classic and basic. I mean, look, there's just like one back view. Okay, all you needed is a zipper and a hook and bar closure, so very affordable to make. And fit wise, at the waist, we have 1 inch of ease. Perfect. The other thing you want to check for when you go to make this is the waistband. Do you see how on her it's sitting at her waistline? The top of it is at her waistline. We should not have very much of a curved waistband here. If we have a curved waistband, then it needs to sit lower on the body. This should be a straight waistband. Okay. If it's not, then that's whenever you will get like that gap in the back that usually probably happens when you go to buy ready to wear. It will just sit really funny. So if it were me and I got this pattern and I saw that it had a curved waistband, I would just measure the length of it and cut it straight and not curved. But I like to wear my stuff like at my natural waist. But at your natural waist, you don't have any curves. It doesn't matter what your body's shaped like. There's no curvature there. So you shouldn't need a curved waistband. Of course, I can't tell that just by looking at the internet, looking at this listing on the internet. But when you go to make yours, double check that for sure. Okay, we've got a wide leg pleated pant with length and waistband variations. 8 to 16, 18 to 26 on the size range. This wide leg pleated pant offers a modern and comfortable fit. Design details include a waistband. What happens when you click here? How to sew an extended waistband tutorial. Okay. Fly front and zipper, side front pockets. View A and B have hook and bar closure. View C has belt carriers, button closure, and contrast top stitching. They made theirs in a wool blend suiting in blue, navy, and gray tattersall check. So I guess we're going to get another picture in there. That's exciting. You can also use gabardine, lightweight denim, linen blends, wool blends. So again, that kind of like mid-weight with some like mid structure. So not too drapey, but not too structured. Especially because we do have the pleated leg, right? All right. So again, same situation with the waistband here. They styled this one to perfection. This is exactly how most people would be wearing it these days. Love to see it. Other than that, it is a classic trouser. You've got your fly zip with that extended like a closure where the hook and bar is under here and the button is under here. You've got 2 pleats, an angled pocket. You can see that really well here. And then that crisp center front crease. Perfect length. Our variations, what are our waist? Oh, the variations are, okay, this is like a capri length. Oh gosh, is that what it's called? You know, where it's shorter, capris. Then you have the plain flat front, and then you have the one with the visible buttons. Let's see these really quickly. Okay, here's the back. What a beautiful leg line. Okay, I'm not upset about this. This is probably a curved waistband, if I can tell by how it's kind of scooping down here. It doesn't need to be. Hopefully it's not super curved, because then this is hiding any issues that would come from that. But in the front, it didn't look... What did it look like in the front? Yeah, and again, it is kind of hard to tell. Is this sitting at her natural waist, or is it just below? It might be sitting below. On your pattern, it'll tell you where it's intended to sit. 1 inch below the waist is usually what it'll say. But you'll also see that little like circle with the plus sign through it. And that'll indicate waistline. So wherever that is landing is where your waistline is supposed to be as well. So you can tell where it's supposed to sit. But yeah, other than that, the back of this looks pretty darn good. Pretty darn good for a sample model, right? Like these were not made for her. So yeah, obviously there's a little bit too much fabric here, but that's literally so specific. These look really great. Classic. Love it. Okay. Zipper, hook and bar, button, or buttons and top stitch thread if you're going to do the other like more denim type view, denim trouser view. Fit wise, waistline, I'm looking for 1 inch. We have 1.5. That is also indicative of the fact that it should be sitting a little bit below your natural waist, that 1.5 versus 1. So maybe it is a bit of a curved waistband, certainly nothing too dramatic. The hip line has 4.5 inches of ease in the hip. Totally fine for a trouser pant. Okay, super cool. Next we have Mimi's other pattern. Now, full disclosure, she did tease this on Instagram, so I did take a look at it, not too closely, but as soon as I saw that it was from the new collection, I tried to swipe away. Is this not also the pattern we just looked at? If not, very, very close. If this is ready to wear, then that's kind of a ready to wear version of the pattern we just looked at. Off the shoulder knit top, knit top and woven trousers. So we've got a repeat. We talked about this a little bit in the McCall's collection, like how many of the same pattern can we put in the same collection? It's getting a little repetitive. But because Mimi's designs are different than Simplicity's designs, I don't know. Could they have talked to each other a little bit more and said, hey, are you doing a pleated pant? Oh, I was thinking about doing a pleated pant. Okay, Mimi, you have the pleated pant this season. I'll do it next season. Something along those lines. But I don't know how things are working around there with so few employees left behind. Okay, 8 to 16, 18 to 26 on the size range. We have 2-piece top and pants sewing pattern. Top is close fitting off the shoulder knit top with ruched fold over detail, extra long sleeves, and stitched hems. Pants, cropped barrel leg. I wasn't getting that initially. With front pleat, side pockets, back welt pocket, and stitched hem. Pants are loose fitting for comfort. View A is 2-way stretch knit in tan. View B is linen blend suiting in light beige. Does Mimi ever say this is my exact fabric that I use for this sample? I know when she had her fabric company, like her online fabric store, she would, or Brittany would, her co-founder, co-owner. But is she still doing that? Like if you DM'd her, would she say, oh yeah, girl, I got that at Mood? Or was she not allowed to? I don't know. Does she say where her fabric, specifically what stores her fabric comes from? Okay, in addition to the 2-way stretch knit, for A, you can do bamboo, interlock, ITY jersey, and rib knit. Again, we have the C pick a knit rule. I got so excited on the McCall's collection because one of their knit patterns had the stretch percentage listed, and I thought, hallelujah, someone's listening. But every knit pattern I've looked at since then has not had that. It's had this pick a knit rule. What's so frustrating about this is that when they go to print the pattern envelope, the pick a knit rule is put on the back of the envelope. So they know what percentage the fabric needs to be at this point when they're putting the website listing together. So it would just be a matter of someone literally flipping the pattern cover over, reading that stretch percentage, and then putting it here. That's literally all it would take. They don't have to open the envelope. They don't have to consult a designer. They don't have to do it. It's literally right there. So maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. I'll keep trying, guys. I will keep trying. For the pants, in addition to the suiting, you can also use broadcloth, cotton blends, gabardine, lightweight denim, linen blends, stretch wovens, twill, and wool blends. So this one, it seems like the fabric requirements or suggestions are a little bit lighter weight. Maybe more, they're probably interchangeable, what you can use for the last pattern and for this pattern. But it looks like Mimi's intention was for it to be a little bit lighter weight. So that's kind of cool. I'm see where she was going with the barrel right here. I think what we're missing is the dart that goes right here that really cinches in the ankle. We've got a bit of a barrel happening with the leg line, or with the, at the knee, hip to knee, but then from knee to ankle, we're missing that one little piece right there, I think. And that would really have said, oh yeah, for sure, that's a barrel leg pant. The top is really cool. I think, oh, was it Vogue did one, but it was a bodysuit. Remember, it was like gray and maybe like crushed velvet. So this sample is certainly a little bit more elevated from that, but very chic, monochromatic look. Pretty. Yes, lots of good photos. Give me one of the back. Give me one of the back. None of the back. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you for nothing. Notions. Elastic for the top. Again, it goes in this area up here to keep it on. That's a great construction detail. And then for the pants, you just need the zipper and the hook and bar and a button for that fly closure. Fit-wise, the top should have negative ease. It does. It has 1/2 inch of negative ease. The waist of the top, we don't really care about too much, but it has 0 inches of ease. And then the pant has 1 inch of positive ease. So that's going to sit at your natural waist. So it does look like a bit of a straighter waistband. It should be anyways. And then the hip has much more room in the hip. So we're looking at 6 inches versus the 4 from the other one. 2 different leg lines, now that I'm getting into it a little bit. It's not just a cropped version of the previous pattern. And a bit more of a looser, lighter fabric, looser fit kind of thing than these. But I mean, pretty darn close. Okay, now we are into dresses. We have a 1 shoulder dress in 3 lengths, sizing 10 to 18, 16 to 24, turn heads. With this 1 shoulder dress sewing pattern available in 3 lengths, view A and B feature a decorative bow, love a bow, designed on the bias for a beautiful drape. Each dress has a side zipper opening and baby hem. This is a poly crepe in black and white polka dot. You can also use challis, charmeuse, cotton blends, linen blends, lightweight drapey fabrics. Okay, so I'm not usually a very big fan of asymmetrical things. I just, this part of my body is not the most favorite of mine. It's a very personal thing. I get that. You guys would be like, what? You don't have anything there, whatever. But for me, I'd call it my little sausages. There's a little sausage there and a little sausage there. So I don't usually love asymmetrical, but you tell me something's cut on the bias and I am instantly like intrigued. I'm instantly like, okay, well, that's got to be a better version of an asymmetrical dress, right? So we do have like an actual under bust seam with princess seams. I'm assuming this is not cut on the bias. This skirt part is what is cut on the bias. So in theory, you could cut this piece on the fold and you would get another sleeve. You would get another shoulder piece. I don't think anything has to change about this, but whatever. You just copy whatever is happening on one side over to the other and you would have something with, a strap, 2 straps. So it doesn't have to be asymmetrical. Then you have the plain version. You have one with a bow and another one that's like shorter length. I mean, it is really cute, right? Give me the back. Yes. Okay. So the back reads a little bit more like a strapless because you just like tuck that in to the lining and you're good to go. Some issues here. Not loving that. It's probably just a little bit too long. That happens a lot. It's not necessarily that she has a sway back. That's not always the first assumption. The first assumption should be length because that's not everybody has sway back. Even if you have a curve to your back, you do not have a sway back. Sway back is like an actual condition. It's kind of like scoliosis is like, the back, the spine curved left to right. Sway back is it's curved front to back. So not everybody has that for like actual condition. Most people are just short-waisted. And so that's what you're accounting for whenever you cut out that little wedge. So just check the length before you just start, hacking away and doing quote unquote sway back adjustments. All right. So notions, 1 invisible zipper, twill tape for hanging loops. That's an interesting thing. Like just thinking it through, right? How are these people going to store this thing? We're going to put hanging loops in it. Okay. I mean, not like super revolutionary, but it is impressive for the big five. We never see that. We never see that kind of detail, it feels like. The bust has 2 inches of positive ease. Now that's concerning, considering we only have one strap holding it up. You know what I mean? So, I would probably make a little muslin just of the little bodice part and just see what happens to the left side when you move around. Is it falling down? If so, then it's going to be too big. So you need to make it smaller. Maybe take some of the construction tips from the polka dotted pattern with the elastic and stuff and apply that here, because there's no elastic in here. So there's nothing technically holding this up. There's no boning, nothing. So, and 2 inches of positive ease does feel like a lot for that. Double check that for sure. Waist has 3 inches of ease and hip has 2.5. Ooh, slim fitting. But because it's bias cut, that fit is not going to feel like, you know, sausage casing. It's going to feel like it just, I don't know, it feels like it just kind of like water over your body in a way. Bias cut is totally different. It's gonna feel great. Even if it only has a little bit of wearing ease in it, it still feels like you have room to move, like moves with you in a way. What is next? This is not that bad of a collection. I'm kind of digging this. So far, so good. I know I'm gonna speak too soon, but we have a Mrs. and women's dress with sleeve variations in 2 lengths. All right, what sizes are we gonna get? Okay, still better. Not perfect. We're at like a solid C. We've got the middle of the Mrs. range and then everything but a couple sizes for the women's range. So yay, women's sizing people out there. Mrs. people, if you are a mid-range girly or a petite girly, I'm sorry, but for everybody else, this is sized for you. Okay, so what do we have? A fit and flare dress sewing pattern, wardrobe staple, versatile style options, featuring a shaped empire seam, gathered skirt, center back invisible zip, sits slightly above the waistline for a flattering silhouette. I think they mean not the dress sits, the skirt sits maybe? View A has clasp closure and short puff sleeves. View B has tie neck closure with short puff sleeves. View C has tie neck closure with long sleeves. They used a 16 millimeter silk charmeuse. 16 millimeter? What does that mean? It is millimeter, right? In white and navy polka dot print. You can also use cotton blends, gabardine, poplin, sateen. So all of these are like lightweight with structure. Lightweight with structure, I think is what you're looking for. And I think they want that for the puff sleeve, the structure for the puff sleeve. That's also why this skirt looks so like wide, is because it's structured. It's not falling in and draping in on the body. Okay, so let's look at the rest of these pictures. So you have that classic underbust with the little gathers, very like retro kind of. You have this large midriff, very, very flattering. The skirt sits high up on the waist so that whenever all these gathers come down, it cascades from like the smallest point of your body. It looks like we have some, like a panel here with some pockets. She's wearing B, but I don't see where that would live on hers. Unless they're like way out here. Is this it? Way out here? So a little bit further out than what they're picturing here. Not so much in the middle. And then that's a midi length. Puff sleeve. Tie closure. Really sweet. Kind of classic. Kind of vintage 40s maybe. Oh, then you have this one with the clasp. That makes it a little less. I guess it depends on the clasp, right? I mean, you could go really crazy with that. That's the version she's wearing. And then here's the long sleeve. It is still a puff sleeve, but longer, with a gathered cuff there for the wrist Here's the back. Okay. The back fits pretty well, I think. There are darts here. It's hard to tell. The sheen of this, like where the lighting is hitting, makes it look like this is like bubbling away from her body. And there, now that I'm looking at it, there are some rippley things happening here. So again, this just might be too long. Possibly. Then you have the midriff, and it looks like there's a seam here as well. This also looks like it might be too long. It actually looks too long on the sides, more so in the middle. So it's like the opposite of a sway back adjustment. Then you have all these gathers. I want to see the line drawings for this. Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all. So yeah, that makes perfect sense then that this would be too long, but it's too long on the sides, it feels like. Definitely something worth muslining for sure. I thought the midriff was going to carry through to the back, right? It definitely didn't, right? Am I losing my mind? That's all one. Yeah, now I can totally see how the little dots are not interrupted. Yeah, so it's just too long. You could probably pinch out a good half an inch here, maybe a little bit more on the sides. And that's very common. The length issue in bodices for Big 5, very, very common. Okay, invisible zipper, a metal clasp, and some buttons for the sleeves if you're doing that option. And then they're only giving us a bust measurement. It does have 3.5 inches of ease, which is fine. I want to know that finished waist though. That would be an important thing to add onto here. I would have liked to have seen that. But we've gotten so much better with the finished garment measurements. It's hard for me to even complain about them these days because we used to not have them at all. All right. Oh, we got a Jiffy, a 1970s Jiffy re-release, I guess, reproduction. Unlined wrap coat. The thing with Jiffy is there's limited pattern pieces. I don't think I've ever seen one that's more than 3. 1, 2, or 3 pattern pieces is usually all I've seen. So that's what makes it go by so fast because you just cut it out so quickly. 8 to 16, 18 to 26 on the size range. Includes long or short unlined wrapped coats, forward shoulder seams, extended shoulders, stand-up collar, patch pockets, long set-in sleeves, turn-back cuffs, self-fabric tie belt, threaded through carriers. Fabric suggestions: canvas, double knit, duck, gabardine, herringbone, linen, poplin, tweed, wool flannel. Yeah, your coating fabrics. Anything lightweight coating all the way up to like winter wear coating. But it is unlined. Then you'll need some interfacing and extra fabric to match plaids. Okay, so it looks like our pattern pieces are front, sleeve, and back. The collar is like grown on. So it's the easiest collar there is to sew. And then you've got patch pockets. That's why it's 3 main pattern pieces. The patch pocket and the belt, I think, are considered separate. Wait, hold on. The collar is not grown on. Front, back, and sleeve. So collar, pocket, and belt are also included. I mean, that's a little bit cheating, if you ask me. That feels like cheating a little bit. Because this part of the shoulder here is part of the back. We do get those 2 darts in the back. I love that. But I do think the collar, now that I'm looking at it, is a separate piece. There's got to be a facing, which I think would be a separate piece. So now we're up to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pattern pieces. 8 if you count the belt carriers. I'm hoping, oh, there's a facing for this too. So that's 9. If they're turned back cuffs, there has to be a facing. So that would be 9 pattern pieces. Okay, so this is a bit of a stretch. I mean, it is 3 main, but every jacket has 3 main pattern pieces. So I feel like it's a little bit of a bait and switch. Okay, fine. But like, notions. Only seam binding. There's literally not a button on this thing. You just wrap it and tie it. Okay. Finished garment measurements. We have, what is that? 8.5 inches in the bust and 20 in the waist. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes, oh, that's the hip, not the waist. I was like, that does feel like a lot. So 11 in the hip. That makes more sense. Yeah, fitting wise, that seems reasonable. Just don't go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to cut this out in 30 minutes. Probably not. Next up is corset dress in 2 lengths by Madeline. So Madeline's the one, Madeline Intimates. I'm sure you've seen a lot of her lingerie with Simplicity. She's recently transitioned, well, maybe not transitioned fully, but at least started incorporating her lingerie skill set into clothing. So she's been making a lot more like lingerie into dresses kind of thing, or a lingerie inspired dress. So if Madeline seems familiar, that's why. Great, great teacher, instructor, designer on intimates. So I can only imagine that this would be no exception. I assume she knows how to do the rest of it, how to make the skirt and everything. So yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work. It's a natural kind of progression, I think. 8 to 16 and 18 to 26 on the size range. Corset inspired sundress sewing pattern. So sundress for fall, that's a choice. Maybe it was like she was late turning it in or something and they couldn't get it in for summer. Available in above knee or mini length, the line bodice features back grommets with lacing, an invisible zipper, lace trim, elegant front and back pin tucks. Design details include a basque bodice. Now, I don't know a lot about lingerie, corsets, whatnot. I don't know what a basque bodice is, but maybe it's, I don't even want to speculate. Lace trim shoulder straps, bust inset panel with ruched lace or sheer overlay. That's what this part is. Still don't know what basque is. I'm trying to like use context clues, but I don't think I'm gonna get there. Perfect for special occasions or a feminine everyday look. View A, this one, lightweight cotton sateen with fine mesh lace, mesh rayon lace. View B, cross-dyed linen blend and point d'esprit lace in black. I don't know what any of that is. You can also use calico, okay, challis, chambray, cotton types, gingham, lawn, lightweight linens, and linen blends, viscose. So for sure, like a summery type of pattern that just got thrown into this fall collection somehow. But it's cute. I thought this was a bubble skirt, which would have made me a little bit more excited, been a little bit more on trend, but it's cute. It's not for me, but it's definitely really cute, right? Like you can see other girls in this. I think this girl would definitely wear this. And then there's the lace up back. The fit looks great. I don't see anything to point out about the fit. Oops. Notions wise, oh, this is where this stuff gets expensive. You have so many notions. Invisible zipper, grommets, double edged scallop lace trim, and ribbon and or cording. Where is the boning? There's not any? Is there really not any? It looked like there's channels for it. Is there not? What is this? Pin tucks. That's not boning. That's pin tucks. Interesting. Okay. I like that more. That it's literally corset inspired and not actually wearing a corset or any kind of uncomfortable boning. It's a cotton dress, really, with just cotton and lace. So yeah, imagine it with eyelet. Okay, wait. I'm actually like really getting into this now. I don't know why the boning of it all made me feel like, no, thank you. But that's, I could get behind that. I guess I'm more for comfort than structure or doing anything to my boobs. I don't need them to sit anywhere. They're fine where they are. Okay. No finished garment measurements on this. Not surprising. I don't think she's ever done that, so I don't see why we would start now. But hopefully it's on par with everything else that we've been seeing, which is pretty on point with the measurements, with the pattern ease and all of that. All right, now we've got a little pinafore. They're calling it a jumper, Mrs. and Mrs. Petite. So instead of doing petite patterns, they started doing Miss Petite, which has, I think it has the style lines on it, but actually not style lines, the length and shorten lines. But now that I'm thinking about it, the McCall's one said with petite lines. It didn't say Miss Petite. So this might just mean that the size 4 is included. I don't know. It might also still have the length and shorten lines to, help with for the shortness of the petite people. Because petite doesn't mean smaller size. It doesn't always mean like size 4. It means it's like a length thing, petite, right? A-line jumper dress with this versatile pattern. The design is semi-fitted through the bust with deep V neckline. I don't know how deep that is. Low armholes. Thank you for saying that. Now I won't point it out as a negative. Button front closure. View A has side seam pockets. Views B and C have lined patch pockets. Double-faced stretch wool suiting in heather gray. Or you can also use cotton twill, medium weight denim, tweed wool suiting. Again, those same mid-weight, mid-structure fabrics. So they've made theirs more into like a little suiting inspired situation. It's cute, not exactly my fabric choice for this, but like this tweed version would have been really cool, or the boucle, or I don't know what that is. Denim's classic, especially with this big angled patch pocket. The side seam pockets, they're going to be floppy pockets. There's no way around it, so I'd probably just leave them off. Honestly, I just wouldn't have a pocket. But the beret, I mean, that feels like, I don't know. Are we really even trying if we're just like, hey, put on this beret? Like, the styling is already questionable So it's almost like they're just like, let's just lean into the kookiness and we'll put her in a beret. Why not? Construction, though, this is not their best work. Normally, there's a little thread there. Or was that on my screen? Oh, sorry, that was on my screen. I think that was a dog hair on my screen. But this wavy thing happening is not typical. They're samples, but you do have the darts in the back. That's the shoulder darts is nice. You can't really see how deep the armholes are. They mentioned that they are deep, so I take their word for it, but you can't really see. It doesn't look like obnoxiously big, so I'll take that. It's cute, right? It's cute, sweet. I wonder how hard it would be to just turn that into a dress that you don't have to wear something underneath. Notions, all you need are buttons. They're calling for 7/8 inch buttons. That's a big button. But if you look on her, this is crossing over the top stitching line. I don't love that. If you look at the illustrations, that's not happening. So maybe the pockets weren't made correctly. I don't know, but smaller button or larger turn down on the pocket for sure, right? All right, what else do we have? That's it, just buttons. So it can be a pretty affordable little garment for sure. It's pretty roomy. So 3.5 inches of ease in the bust. Not that roomy. They did say it was semi-fitted through the bust, so that makes sense because you could still wear, it's like a layering piece, right? So you do want to wear something underneath it, plus your bra, so that all adds up. So that is reasonable to me. The waist has 11 inches of ease and the hip has 6, which makes sense again for this like A-line design. You're going to have a bunch more in the waist than you are in the hip, but the 6 in the hip also feels fine. It also feels fine. If it is too small through the hip and you want to grade, don't grade more than 2 sizes. Like, 18, 16, 14 is as low as I would go. If you're measuring like a 12 up here, then maybe do a full seat adjustment. But that seemed roomy enough that most people would be able to fit into it with the ease that is there. Okay, so here's our unisex pattern of this collection, and what do you know? It's a button-down shirt. If you watched McCall's, you know. If you know, you know. It is Western. All the sizes are in one, so extra small to 2XL. I should say all the standard sizes are in one. It features a spread collar, front snap closures, 2 chest flapped patch pockets with snap closures, Western style front and back yokes. Long sleeves are finished with snap barrel cuffs. View A is relaxed fit, view B is slim fit with waist darts. They are both sewn in 6.5 ounce denim. You can also use broadcloth, chambray, corduroy, cotton blends, denim, and shirtings. So, when you are making a unisex garment, mostly here we'll use the line drawings to help us illustrate this. Mostly the difference is wait. Okay, sorry, my mouth is catching up with my brain. What they did was one men's shirt and one women's shirt in one pattern. So it's not necessarily unisex. Everything other than the front piece and the back piece are probably the same. But for the women, they gave us darts to give us a little bit of shape. For the men, it's more of a box, which is what I was going to say. Is typically when you have a unisex pattern on the woman, it looks like oversized, slouchy, like boyfriend fit because there's no curves on it. But they gave us both. That's an interesting way to approach a unisex pattern. Again, it does feel a little bit like a bait and switch because it's not, the pattern as a whole is unisex, but not the actual, do you know what I'm trying to say? I can't think of another way to phrase it. And I don't hate the idea of having a very similar pattern with just a few details added to give curves to the women's version. But I don't know about calling it unisex. What do you guys think? Am I overthinking it? That's a distinct possibility. I've definitely been known to overthink things. Definitely. Okay, well, with all that in mind, if I were sewing for myself and a man, yeah, for sure I'd be grabbing this. That way I have to do less work on my men's button down to make it, quote unquote flattering for me. But I think the shoulders are the same, and those look pretty good on both of them. I have no complaints there. And the Western style is really cute, especially after that Hunting Wives show. They were all wearing the Western wear. Yep. See how it's more boxy for him and now more fitted for her. I don't love how tight it is around the butt because that is a problem area for me too. But I'm presuming maybe, do you just wear it tucked in always? I wouldn't wear it like this. This is for sure my exact body type because it's like too tight here and too loose here. That's always my problem with ready to wear. So notions are 12 heavy duty snaps, which I think they come in packs of 12, 15, something like that anyways. So not super expensive. I mean, yes, an added expense, but not crazy. And then we're going by chest measurements here. So, and they both have the same finished garment measurement. There's no way at the waist they have the same. So this is inaccurate for one of them. Either the women, the B or A. One of the two is wrong. They can't have the same with all this being taken out from the front and the back. So double check that. But interesting approach. Interesting approach for sure. Okay, now, here's another Jiffy pattern. This is a Jiffy caftan, one main pattern piece. Sizing, one size. Okay, it just fits everybody. I'll take your word for it. Can be made in 3 proportions, short, medium, or tall. Features a high round neckline with front slit trimmed with frogs. Yikes. Braid or bow plus optional elastic casing gathered arm openings. Challis, crepe, lame, matte jersey, printed silk, printed voile, sateen, surah. Lightweight drapey fabrics here. And I want to see the line drawing. So we have one main pattern piece. Maybe this little bow would be a second pattern piece, but not 9. Not 3 main pieces and then 7 not main pieces. Just genuinely a really quick throw together pattern. You really can't go wrong with a caftan. Yeah. And then they have the 3 different lengths. Hard to tell here. Maybe it's just on the actual pattern piece because all of these ladies' versions are to the floor. But yeah, here's the frog closure. Here's the bow. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I would be wearing this like out anywhere. I know that Miss Patricia from Southern Charm does, and she can pull it off, but she's also like basically an aristocrat. So who's going to tell her anything? Nobody. The little elastic for the sleeve opening, I do love that. It is giving some like definition for your arms. That's got to help, right? The only thing maybe I wish I had were the little stitching lines that go up and down here. But other than that, I mean, it's just gone with the wind fabulous. I would try it. I don't hate it. I'd have to find like, I don't know. Should I just make it like a swim cover up? I mean, it would be a great little house coat, something just to wear around the house. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's room in my life for a caftan. Does that mean I'm aging? Am I getting old? Oh, okay. Here's a men's vest. We're gonna skip over that. Men's wear all by itself is very. I don't understand the fit a lot. This one seems perfectly reasonable to me based on looking at him. We have the family pajamas. Typically, this comes out with the winter collection because you're going to want to sew this for the holidays. But this time we have pajama pants and then a fleece hoodie. We have a men's 1970s. Now, this is a first. A vintage menswear pattern. Here for that. Good on them. Okay, we do have, so the dog patterns were pretty much exclusively quick sew patterns. I'm 99% sure quick sew is gone out of business, not ever going to release another pattern ever. So is Simplicity where they're going to start sticking them, because Honey and Biscuit absolutely need a team jersey. We don't really have a team. We'll find one. We'll be, Team Taylor or whatever. Kids clothes, great. Again, skipping those. Same with costumes. Toys, doll clothes, sewing pattern totes. I don't know. It seems like a university. There's UNC right there. So it's not a tote for your sewing pattern. It is a tote sewing pattern. Okay, that's it. That takes us, was summer. Pattern clothes for porch and lawn geese. Really? Is this like is that a thing? Lawn and porch geese in and of itself, and then / also dressing them? I'm very confused by this. Someone fill me in. I need the lore. Like, what is happening? This feels super niche. Like there's one person in the whole world who needs clothes for their porch and lawn geese, but maybe I'm missing out on something. Is that like a big deal somewhere? Do I need a porch geese? I need a porch geese. And then of course I need to dress them. Oh, it's all the holidays. I'm concerned for the designers at Simplicity now. I'm very worried. Oh my gosh. Oh, my sewing student kids would love this one. Any hoozles, what did you guys think? Oh my god, here's another one. Here's another one. Fall holiday, Christmas holiday, and then just general holiday, I guess. That's 4th of July for sure. But what is happening? I'm going to do a deep dive into this immediately after I stop filming this video. Wow. Okay. I can't speak. What did you guys think of this collection? Honestly, I didn't have a lot of negative things to say. That's pretty good, right? For a review from me, I tend to be a little bit of a harsh critic. Not necessarily stuff that I would buy and add to my stash, but definitely stuff that if you bought and added to your stash, I would be so happy for you. If I bought anything, it would be this one. Yeah, that would be the only one that really stands out to me as something unique and different that I haven't seen, that I don't already have, that I would actually wear. So, but I want to know what you guys think. Are you going to be buying any of these? Let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I am going to see you guys very soon. Okay, bye.